and welcome back to another video. Again, quite a light-hearted one today. We're going to be looking at more dating advice questions from the dating advice subreddit, and I'm going to be giving you my amateurish but single person advice on some of these things and my answers and all this kind of thing. I'm bad at introductions. Let's just jump into the question. This one is less of a actual question and more of a man just ranting at women, but I think it raises some really important questions and discussion points around consent and communication in dating and relationships. I think it's something really important to talk about, so let's take a look together. This person says, unpopular opinion, women telling men to ask for consent over every little thing is harming a generation of confused men. On all the dating subs, women preach the idea of asking for consent over every little thing. Ask for consent before giving a sideways hug. Ask for consent before holding hands. Ask before a kiss. What ends up happening is you have an inexperienced guy who takes advice to heart, goes out on a date in the real world, and asking just makes everything weird. For example, him, hey Jane, is it okay if I hug you, hello? Jane, hi, sure. Him, 20 minutes into the date, is it okay if I place my hand on top of yours? Jane, I guess. Him, end of the date, can I kiss you goodnight? Jane, no. Him, can we settle for a hug? Jane, I guess. So what ends up happening is Jane goes on a date with a confident man a week later who doesn't ask for stuff. He just reads the room and makes a move accordingly. Jane naturally feels a lot more chemistry with the confident man. All the while, our confused guy is now even more confused since he got rejected doing everything he was told to do by women. All the while, Jane is now in a relationship / having sex with a guy who read the room as opposed to asking. Now our confused guy is even more confused, convinced that women are just attracted to douchebags. Better advice, learn to read the room as opposed to autistically asking over every little thing. Thoughts? So here we have a man saying, a lot of women say to do this one thing, but I met this one particular woman, or maybe I'm just making her up and she's hypothetical, who didn't like that. So now I'm going to advise all men to not do that, which is ridiculous. And I'm also personally a little disgusted by the comment about autistically asking for obvious reasons. You know, as an autistic woman myself, I find it really helps to ask for things and get clarification, and I'd rather other people ask me as well. It just helps. It's not a weird thing. I don't think it should be used as an insult in this way. It bothers me, yes. Anyway, like I say, I am not convinced that any of this actually happened, but I will say this. Consent is important for everyone, and chemistry is important for a lot of people too. And here's the secret that the poster is missing. If you have chemistry with someone and ask for consent before making a move, it will not destroy the chemistry. However, if you have chemistry with someone and you make a move without their consent, before they're ready for it, before they want it, it will destroy any chemistry or trust that was there between you anyway. Getting consent and asking before you do something doesn't have to be an awkward thing at all. I've asked men if I can kiss them before, and I've had men hold my hand and check with me, hey, is this okay? And everything in between. I've had men ask to kiss me as well, and never once has it killed the moment or ruined anything. But it does mean if you are uncomfortable and you're not feeling the chemistry and attraction and you don't want to do it, it gives you a chance to say no before it happens when you don't want it to. I have had men who've asked if they can kiss me, and like I've wanted to, but maybe I've not been ready, and I've said no, and we've waited, and it's not been a problem. It's not destroyed the chemistry or anything like that. It's not ruined any chances. It was lovely. It said to me that they respected me, that they listened to me, that they understood me, and it was great. That said, I have, however, had men grab at me or throw their arms around me or touch me before I was ready, or who've either ignored the fact I've said no or not given me a chance to, and I've had to like physically squirm away from them, and I've not wanted to see any of those men again at all. So maybe I would have wanted them to touch me in time, but when they just took it without asking me, I didn't want it at all from them anymore. It physically repulsed me and scared me. And while in these examples here I'm mostly talking about like me and men, everything I'm saying here can be applied to all genders. Asking for consent doesn't mean you're not confident, and making a move doesn't make you seem more confident and like you have better chemistry. That is just completely wrong. This poster is completely wrong. Everything ultimately comes down to understanding who you are and how you communicate and what you're comfortable with, and also learning who your date is, how they communicate and what they're comfortable with. And the best and perhaps only way to know that stuff is by by asking about it. No one is saying you can never ever ever touch a person again without asking every single time. As you get to know someone with time, you'll generally know what they're okay with and what they aren't, and how to pick up on signals from them. And you'll better learn how to trust each other, how to read each other, how to pick up on each other's body language and communication styles. So those things do develop over time. You're not gonna have to ask someone you've been dating for 2 years if you can hold their hand every single time. Generally in the future, you will be able to read it and understand it. But until then, even if you think you might know, it's always better to just ask and make sure. Just check. Generally, if you're not sure, just ask. It won't ruin anything. Trust me. But let's take this post as absolutely definitely made up scenario and just like, you know, run some hypotheticals. Let's say in this case he does ask for consent before doing anything, and his worst case scenario is that, oh, this woman won't find him as attractive for asking. Okay, well that's a shame. However, let's say he stops asking for consent and just goes for it in order to appear confident, and worst case scenario is he sexually assaults a woman and causes some potential physical and psychological damage. I know which outcome is worse, so again, I would rather kill some potential chemistry than accidentally sexually assault someone. So if you're unsure, just ask. Simple as that. With that in mind, I want to move on to another question which is super open-ended, and oh my god, there's so many potential answers for this. It simply asks, how do you write a dating profile? Am I just supposed to list my interests, make a joke or something? I can't really figure out what to write. Now this is a big one. This is tough, and there's absolutely no one right or wrong answer. There's no template you can just use. It's really not simple at all. And I know a lot of people aren't a fan of stuff like online dating, but I think it can be a really good thing. I'm really not opposed to it. I'm a single woman who lives and works alone, and I don't have a huge amount of friends in Leeds, so how else am I supposed to meet someone? For someone like me, it's very, very helpful. That said, when it comes to dating profiles though, I am an absolutely brutal judge. As I said in the last video, I have a list of things that I look for in a potential partner and a date, and I also have a big list of things that I look for in someone's profile and a big list of red flags of things that I stay away from. Things where if I see them, I'm not even going to consider them. The big things for me, and these are just personal, not everyone's going to follow these rules and standards, but the big things for me are like, if I see someone being overly negative in their profile, that's a nope. If I see someone swearing in their profile, that's a note. If people don't seem to be taking it seriously and just making a joke out of it, or they seem embarrassed to have a dating profile, that's a no. Anyone who never shows their full face, that's a no. And then I just have like a few personal preferences that are based on like, you know, bad experiences or things I want to avoid again, or just like people who would be wrong for me and stuff like that. So for example, it's an immediate no for me if anyone says they're looking for someone laid back in their profile, because I am very aware that I'm absolutely not a laid back person. I'm like a walking bundle of anxiety sometimes. So if they want a laid back person, I'm not gonna be right for them. So I automatically swipe no. Other things are like, if they say they spend their Sundays nursing a hangover, I'm like, okay, well, I'm not really like a big drinker like that, so no thank you, especially not on a regular basis. Other things like if they have kids in their profile pictures or anything, I'm like, okay, well, you clearly spend a lot of time around children in your life. I don't really want that in mine. That's a no from me. So these are just my things that I look out for, but not everyone's going to be looking for these things. So you have to remember that you can't make a dating profile that is going to attract everyone, so you need to make one that is going to attract the kind of person you want to attract. And I know that sounds silly and I know it might sound obvious, but I think it's a thing that a lot of people overlook. So what should you be putting on there instead? Like I say, I can't just sit here and say type this and then use this photo and then do this, but I do have a few ideas that might help you a little bit. So firstly, the biggest thing is tailor what you write about yourself to what you want to attract. I know I said this a minute ago, but it's so important. So if you just want to date casually or you want a simple hookup, make sure you're communicating that in your profile, and you can be a little bit more low effort if you want that, not include as much information, show you're not really taking it seriously, and just communicate that all you want is casual. That's fine. But if you are looking for something more serious and long term, communicate that as well, and I'd say make sure you take your profile more seriously as well. Don't treat it as a joke if you're actually looking for a real relationship. Make sure if you use an app like Hinge, for example, for your dating profile, that you choose your prompts really carefully and think about how you answer. Or if you're using an app or site that just wants you to write a short bio, then don't waste that opportunity on some old joke or some pickup line. Actually fill it with useful information that's going to attract the right kind of person. If a guy has made a whole joke out of his profile and, for example, answered all 3 prompts with the same answer, things like that, like I know he's not serious about dating and I'm not going to waste my time on him. If he's not told told me anything about himself in his profile, then I won't waste my time, because how am I meant to start a conversation with absolutely nothing to go on other than, oh, you have brown hair? Things I like to see instead are really thoughtful answers with a little effort put in. I like to know something about you. Tell me about your job, your hobbies, what you're passionate about, how you spend your free time, what you want to do with your future. Be honest with this stuff, because everyone's going to be looking for different things, and it's important that you attract people you'll actually be compatible with. So there's no point in me writing on my profile that, oh my god, I love football and pints down the pub, because that's going to attract one kind of person that isn't what I actually like, and that's not going to end well. You know, they're not going to actually have anything in common with the real me. So make sure you're being honest. Quality of matches is far more important than quantity, and I think a lot of people forget that. So for me personally, I like to look for people who mention having similar interests to me. So for example, something arty or photography, or they like seeing live music, or they like nature or something like that. If I see something related to one of those, I know I can have a conversation with them, and you know, I'll send them a message based on one of those things. I'd also say in your profile, it can be good to include something about the kind of person you're looking for. Now, don't do this in a negative way. I see so many people being like, oh, no angry people, no negative people, don't want no drama, don't want no single mums, don't want no like bleach blonde Barbie dolls with too much makeup. No, that's horrible. That's really negative. You seem like a really nasty person. You seem quite judgmental. That's not going to attract anyone, even if they fit your category of not being like that. No, be positive. Tell me what you are looking for instead. Have a little think about the kind of person you want, and then write about it. Do you want someone sporty like you, or creative, or intelligent, or how about something about the life goals that you have and the life goals that you want your partner to have, you know? So like for me, for example, I'm always completely upfront about the fact that I do not want kids. That is a big non-negotiable for me. So I want to meet someone else who's child-free by choice too, so I put that on my profile. So have a think about what you want and what you want from your life, and think about including that as well. In general, I look for people who have quite specific answers on their profile and quite specific information, because I think that's more fun to start a conversation with. If I just see someone who puts something really generic, like get to know me better by just asking, that's an immediate no from me, because I'm like, give me something to work with. What do you want me to ask about here? Like, that's a lot. And I also kind of think that for the people who don't include, like, you know, personal stuff about them and their hobbies and their life and their interests and stuff like that, I think if you can't tell me something about yourself and summarize who you are in a dating profile, for example, then it makes me wonder, are you just lacking self-awareness in general? In which case, again, that's not someone I'd be interested in. So I avoid people like that as well. I also see a lot of people bragging about what I think are quite basic things. Like they'll be like, oh yeah, I've got my own place, I've got a car, I earn this much money, and that's an immediate no for me as well. Because it wouldn't be a deal breaker if they didn't have those things, but for me, like things like having my own place and financial stability and stuff like that, they're things I already have for myself. They're not things that I'm looking for in a man. Does that make sense? So I provide for myself. I don't need a man to provide financial or material things for me, and if that's all you think you have to offer a woman, then you're not really for me. If the best thing about you is that you make some money, I'm not going to be interested. I make my own money. Give me a man who can give me intelligent conversation, inspire me creatively, make me laugh, take me interesting places, push me out of my comfort zone. That's what I'm looking for, not someone who's got a house and a car, you know? But that said, maybe you are looking to attract someone who's just going to be like your typical housewife who is looking for someone who's already got their life together, and they can just kind of go along with that and be provided for. In which case, yeah, feel free to brag about it. Again, you tailor your profile to the kind of person you're looking for. Simple as that. There's no right or wrong to this. It all depends on who you're trying to attract. And like I say, the way I see it is put yourself in the position of a stranger coming across your profile. They know nothing else about you. What are they going to learn from your profile, and how is it going to make them interested in you? And is it going to attract the kind of person you're interested in? Think about who your ideal partner is and what you think they'll be looking for, and ask yourself, can I give them this? And how can I show them that? And again, remember, everyone is individual, so what are big red flags for me might be absolutely fine for someone else, and what someone else is looking for. What I really like in a person might be someone's idea of like the worst partner ever, and they'll be like, oh gross, why do you like that? So like I say, don't worry about sticking to certain rules or doing these exact things that I've said that I like or that someone else likes or something like that. Just figure out how to attract the right kind of partner for you. Put yourself in their shoes and ask, what do they want? and how can I show them that I offer that? Simple as that. That is the one bit of advice for dating profiles that I have. But anyway, that's me rambling quite a lot. Like I say, this is just my personal opinion from my own experiences. I'm not like a dating expert. I'm not like, you know, a pro. So feel free to share your own ideas. Tell me I'm wrong, tell me I'm right, anything in between. But let me know your thoughts down in the comments. But for now, thank you so much for watching today. I appreciate you a hell of a lot, and I will see you all again very, very soon.